technological workflow which each of us enjoy, apart from the great personal rapport he has up and at the lower lung of the chain, and at the same time being a close friend to each one of us, encouraging us. Well, if you look at 2005, literally in India, we had no advent of any of the molecular programs, except that we had sparse maps with few hundred SSR markers and limited trait mapping from Winter or Huttle's group, and of course one from Dr. Sabhyata Bhatia, again a close collaborator and friend of this very group. Almost there were nothing. And as we moved down the line into 2010, when the first paper from his group, his student Spruti, who is now in US University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, has produced one of the few maps. Then the advent of era of biotechnology into the chickpea program came in a large way, whether you are looking at development of use of genic molecular markers, transcriptome analysis, ESTs both for drought and salinity, or looking at cost-effective SNP markers or novel SSR markers from back-end sequences. So from an orphan crop, which is rightly put, to make chickpea as a genomic resource-rich crop, we made the beginning somewhere in 2010. Before that, the advent of good funding agencies, the vision of CEG Center, which was headed by him, and the collective vision of the AACRP and IIPR groups, which fostered together, and the pioneering leadership of Rajiv could bring in. So in 2013, when the draft sequence of CDC Frontier was first published, it was hailed as a landmark. To that of 2016, where breeding programs could bank upon looking into producing of enhanced genetic diversity, to that of 2019, when Nature Genetics first published the resequencing of 429 chickpea accessions, a great what you call research impetus that was helped by Dr. N.P. Singh, DBT, ICAR, DAC, and led by Rajiv, to that of the most recent Nature article, which gives a detailed variation of this particular map, the pangenome, and the future of use of translational genomics, whether it is genomic selections or if you are looking at haplotype breeding, has been clearly indicated. We never, the trait tagging, which had come down in a large way through this biotechnological and genetic and genomic studies, have greatly helped the chickpea community.
Hello, sir, sorry to disturb. I think slides are not moving in your...
It is not moving?
Yeah, it's not moving.
Now?
Right.
Are they?
Still first slide is there only.
Slide I have, it is moving here.
Should I do it from my side?
Yeah, can you do it? Can you do it? If
you stop.
It's moving now.
Maybe you stop from.
Yeah.
Look. It's moving. If I can hear from the group.
No, it is not moving, sir.
No, here it is moving.
Oh my God.
Back to first slides.
Varshne, Manish,
Yeah,
can you just... Okay.
Yes.
So Bharadwaj,
sir, if you have slide, Manish, you can present from your computer and Bharadwaj ko unmute.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
But Bharadwaj has to unshare first.
Hopefully, I'll have the privilege. Can you guys see the slide? Anybody can confirm?
Yeah, I can see the slide.
You can see.
Yeah, slides are visible.
You can just put it into the slideshow mode and go to the next one. We have covered this. And the next. Yeah, so the chickpea genomic resources from orphan crop were now brought into what we call as genome resource rich crop. Again, like Varshne has initially put it, where we called NP Singh Saab as the Janak of molecular breeding, the father of advent of molecular breeding for chickpea in the country. Great impetus by this team of Dr. NP Singh and Dr. Dikshit that today we are the first in India and one of the leading crops in the world which has released a large amount of marker assisted backcross bred lines as well as into genomic selection. We are moving much ahead, and this was due to the vision and leadership of Varshne, which needs to be appreciated. Next one. Manish. Not only that, why this was possible was there was also a constant effort by the CEG team head by him, where the cost of the genotyping greatly reduced. If you look almost to $6 to $2, where the forward breeding 10 SNP panel could be looked, where we have the drought, fusarium wilt and ascochyta blight limited markers put onto this panel. Or if you are looking at a mid-density panel, which is just looking at $6 or to an 50K SNP panel. And this has culminated into a release of a large number of varieties. Next. Be it the world's first MABC line, pan continents, that is Giletu in Ethiopia or Pusa chickpea 10216, or for fusarium wilt resistance, whether it was Super Annigiri 1, Dr. Manur is here, or fusarium wilt resistant line dubbed as Super chickpea, Pusa chickpea Vanav, with almost as high as 3 tons per hectare, where Rajiv and his group played a pivotal role, whether it was genotyping, whether it was looking at the ways that these lines could be popularized. Next one. It's not only that, when you look down into the recently released cultivars, whether it was Pusa chickpea 4005, or if you are looking at IPCMB 19-3 or IPCL 4-14 for drought and wilt, this clearly indicates the valediction of the thought processes that he was holding, wherein it was not just for publications, but also for helping the resilient farming community of the marginal and the submarginal lands. Apart from it, next, that it has culminated into organization of a large number of workshops, but to the products. For example, you can see Lodi, who always hails it as a jhad of these varieties that are playing almost a resilience to the drought strived what you call as the Bundelkhand region. Today we almost have 50 farmers demonstrations taken up by KVKs. Next one, please. His penchant interest in field activities, as you have seen in the previous slide, whether it was with Yasin, whether it was with Manur, whether it was with the IAPR, or in the what you call as African and the Vana regions, and also looking at the capacity building activities. Almost a large number of courses that have been organized with 1/3 of the genuine what we call as the feminine gender, with almost 500 scientists that have been trained, more than 150 PhD students as chairman or as member who have been trained, 10 international workshops speak to his commitment. Next one, please. And this is not limited just to the Indian subcontinent. When you look at the human resources, pan globe, whether it was South America, whether it was Australia, whether it was the Middle East, whether it was Africa or whether it was the Indian subcontinent. Almost all the countries have benefited through his partnership and leadership programs. Next one, please. And all of us have been to this excellent center at CEG, where each one of us interacted, had fruitful cooperation and collaborations with him, not only in India, next one please, but as I said, against the international programs through his conferences, 10 plus conferences. I remember not only of those conferences that were organized by ICRISAT, but international conferences in which almost all the stalwarts of breeding and biotechnology programs have participated and benefited, almost more than 3,000 participants. A huge HRD interventions that were brought out. Next one, please. And a huge amount of resource mobilization, 68 million US dollars. When I start looking at it, it's almost whooping 14% of the period of the budget in which he was there at the ICRISAT, and obtaining it almost from all corners of the world, whether it was DAC, whether it was DBT, whether it was tropical legumes, whether it was Gobi or it was Center of Excellence. Huge amount of funds could be generated that provided a solid base of development of the biotechnological workflow that culminated into the development of varieties. Next one, please. This has clearly brought about, apart from human resources and products, high quality research papers. Almost the only Indian to constantly cite on the largest cited scientist in the agricultural and biotechnological fields for consecutive 8 years. That requires a kudos for him. And almost all the elite journals, you find that Varshney and his group have published. Next, please. There was a huge media coverage across the globe, whether it was New York Times, whether it was Biotech Express, whether it was even the local papers of Krishi Jagran or the Hindu. Next, please. And that has brought not only laurels to himself or to the chickpea group, but for his own mother organization where he has started his career, whether it was the recent award, the Africa Food Prize for the tropical legume program that he has heralded in and brought about a pulse revolution. Apart from chickpea, he was working in other crops and millet revolution in Africa. Or next, please. So with this brief introduction, I put on board all the prizes for this humble, short, but ever smiling gentleman, Professor Varshney. We call him with love Rajiv. Thank you, Rajiv, for being there and being there for all of us here. Moving ahead into the program, I request now Dr. Shiv Saivakji, who is the acting director IIPR, to give a few words.
So, thank you, Dr. Bhardwaj. May I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So, thank you, Dr. Bhardwaj. Most respected Dr. Varshney, a renowned biotechnologist. He served more than 16 years at ICRISAT, and now he accepted the position of Director, State Agriculture Biotechnology Center, Director Center for the Crop and Food Innovation, and Chair of the Agriculture and Food Security. Most Honorable Vice Chancellor, Andhra Agricultural University, Dr. N.P. Singh Saab, Dr. G.P. Dikshit, TC Chickpea, Dr. Chaturvedi, Dean, Rani Lakshmibai Central Agricultural University, and my colleagues, Dr. Manur, Madam Anita Babbar, Dr. Sarjit Singh, Dr. S.J. Singh, and many more colleagues who are attending this felicitation function online mode. As you know, Dr. Vasne is a renowned biotechnologist and he worked at ICRISAT for more than 16 years on various crops. Most probably these crops are chickpea and pigeonpea. His contribution in the field of molecular genetics in chickpea and pigeonpea is globally recognized and very well described by the Dr. Bhardwaj. Here, Dr. Vasne has made contribution in genome sequencing, genomics assisted breeding, translation genomics, and has made pioneer contribution by integration of genomics with crop improvement in 2 pulse crops in chickpea and pigeonpea. Scientists of IIPR and our NARS system were benefited a lot from the collaboration in biotechnological fields, and several projects were jointly operated with Dr. Vasne in his team and scientists of IIPR and NAS system, just like PL3, genetic gains, molecular breeding, etc. Genomic resources developed by Dr. Vasne are being used in pulse crops, and scientists of the NAS system were also benefited by this collaboration. Under HRD program, several scientists and students working in the field of biotechnology but trained in the lab of Dr. Vasne and benefited by these trainings, and they are using these tools, biotechnological tools, for the crop improvement. So, in this regard, many chickpea varieties were developed by the marker-assisted selection, etc. In IIPR also, IPCL 4-14, IPCMB 19-3 were identified and released very recently. So, as we know, in chickpea is the largest grown crop in the India, and productivity and area is increasing day by day, and we got record production during last Rabi season. So the contribution of Dr. Vasne is very well recognized in pigeonpea and chickpea, and in future also we will collaborate with Dr. Vasne in different projects, and I wish him, and I, on the behalf of myself and on the behalf of all scientists of chickpea, pigeonpea, I wish him the best for the future journey, and hope that Dr. Vasne will collaborate with our program in future also. Thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your blessings to him, and also for the futuristic collaborations that you have proposed on ground. And I'm sure Vasne would still remain one for the family that he has nurtured for so long. I now call upon Dr. G.P. Dikshit, Project Coordinator, All India Chickpea Improvement Program, for his remarks.
Good morning to all of you. Chief guest of this event, Dr. Rajiv Vasne. our very senior colleague, Dr. N.P. Singh, Vice Chancellor of UAT Banda, Director of IIPR, Dr. Shiv Sevak, our old colleagues of chickpea family, Dr. D.M. Manur, Dr. S.J. Singh, Dr. S.K. Chaturvedi, and my colleagues from AICRP network of chickpea, including colleagues from ICRISAT. As you all are aware, that one of our very close collaborator, Dr. Rajiv Vashne, is going to join a new assignment at Murdoch University in Australia as Director of Center for Crop and Food Innovation and International Chair in Agriculture and Food Security with the Food Future Institute. On behalf of AICRP chickpea team and my own behalf, I would like to congratulate Dr. Vashne for this great achievement and wish him a very bright future. During his long stay at ICRISAT, Dr. Vashne has contributed a lot, particularly in the field of genomics in chickpea. He was instrumental in integrating advanced discoveries in genomics with crop improvement, especially in legumes. He has a genome sequence of chickpea, pigeonpea, and several molecular breeding products in chickpea to his credit. Genomic resources developed under the leadership of Dr. Vashne are being used in several breeding programs in the country for the modernization of crop improvement, particularly including chickpea. During my tenure as a project coordinator in the last 7 years, I had several occasions where me and Dr. Vashne could discuss very closely on different aspects and try to strengthen the chickpea program of the country. I remember when the new mass product came for the testing in our AICRP 5 years back. At that time, there was a hitch as to how to test these products in our network. What should be the mechanism and means how we should formulate the trials and how the testing should be done. Because for the trait like drought, which was one of the line or the product which were proposed for the testing in our AICRP, we were not having any appropriate phenotyping facility in our network. But after discussion in our group mates, we could find an appropriate mechanism for their testing, and we could do it. Now our partners have developed several diverse products through mass in chickpea, and few of them, as Dr. Bhardwaj mentioned, have already been released and are being commercialized in the country. And now in India, we can claim that our chickpea program is very advanced, and you can see the impact. And we say that the chickpea production in the country is now very close to 12 million ton. And this all is because of our team effort, where we were fortunate to have a person like Dr. Rajiv Vashne as an active member in our team. Our national chickpea program was benefited a lot as a result of our close collaboration with Dr. Rajiv Vashne, and several high quality papers were published. And also our partners had the advantage of working several multi-institutional projects like TL3, Genetic Gain Project funded by DAC, then several DBT funded projects, and indirectly he could provide financial support to our network. So a lot has been done, although still there are several areas where I had a plan to work very closely with Dr. Rajiv Vasne for the benefit of our AICRP, but let's see how things move. Now he's leaving ICRISAT and going to join a new assignment, but I feel that he will continue to guide and support our national program, because chickpea is an important grain legume of Australia also. So I feel that after going to Australia, Dr. Vasne will certainly explore the possibility of collaboration with our national program. And I assure that we will be extending every support to you whenever and wherever you need, because you are a part of our team and you will continue to be the part of our team. So before I close, I would again like to thank Dr. Rajiv Vasne for his support to me and to the Chickpea National Program, and wish him a very bright future. Thank you and wish you all a very happy new year.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Bhardwaj is disappeared.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I also appreciate the initiative that you have taken to organize this meeting at a very, very short notice, gathering up and chalking out. I request upon another close, I call him as friend of Rajiv, friend of the Chickpea program, and now the Dean at RLB-CAU, Dr. S.K. Chaturvedi sir, for his remarks.
Good morning to all. Honorable Vice Chancellor and my friend Dr. M.K. Singh sir, Dr. G.P. Dixit, Dr. Sivasevakji, and many colleagues. Let me thank to Dr. Bhardwaj for providing me this opportunity, and to Dr. Dixit, so that at least we could meet. Of course, today we are going to have another very big program. Honorable Union Agriculture Minister and Agriculture Minister Sri Kailash Chaudhary, they will be with us during afternoon. So just we were busy in that. Anyway, but really it's good to see to Dr. Rajiv Vasne. What I feel that an excellent human being, dynamic leader and collaborator, and very good friend. I think Rajiv has contributed a lot for the development of agriculture in this country, particularly pulses and that too chickpea. I really appreciate from my core of heart the efforts Dr. Rajiv has made to put chickpea at the top. Just to remember, because in 2005, when he was delivering a talk in a closed room, and I was fortunate to attend that meeting. That was, I think, very first lecture that was delivered by Dr. Rajiv Vasne in 2005 at ICRISAT in a very small room, and then we had a meeting. So remembering to that, in 2005-06, correctly I remember, the chickpea production was something like 5.6 or 5.62 million, something like that, 5.6 million ton. And starting from 2005 to 6, now it's 2020-21, when we are almost 12 million ton. So more than double, I should say more than double production has this country witnessed in case of chickpea. And he was also advocating about the pigeonpea as well. I should not forget that pigeonpea also at this moment. And we had some discussion about pigeonpea, and I was critic of ICRISAT because ICRISAT has diverted the entire program, national program towards hybrid. and there were many setbacks in pigeonpea. And again, Rajiv took over and guided the pigeonpea program, and now at least if I remember, it was 2012-13 somewhere. Sometimes we were discussing about pigeonpea, and then at that time pigeonpea used to be something like 3.0102 million ton, and now it's also at almost 4 million ton. So some very good work has been done, and already Dr. Bharadwaj and Dr. Dikshit has shared the achievements. I think it's not will be appropriate at my part to repeat, but still I will say I will recognize that identification of hotspot QTL, that's drought one from ICT 495A. It's not that he could develop very good or useful scientific information. But during this long journey, I should say 1.5 decade journey, he could guide the development of the product itself. So the identification of the hotspot drought QTL, and then transferring it to many backgrounds, and now in 2020-21, I will say at least 2 products are at ground using that particular QTL. So these are some of the achievements, right, starting from the 2013 that Dr. Bharadwaj has mentioned about the relative variety released in Ethiopia, then the Super Nigerian, that my senior and good friend Dr. Manur is here in 2019, then Pusa 10216 in 20 and 21. Now what I feel that many good materials are in pipeline, and I am sure that within next 4 or 5 years, country will see sea change in release of the varieties, so molecular using molecular markers, or using these genomic resources. And lady, I feel that the country has witnessed pulse revolution, and lot of share. I will not quote that how much, but certainly a huge share goes to ICRISAT and to Dr. Rajiv as well, because he has really contributed. He has given the speed. What always he says that accelerated breeding, accelerated genetic gain. So in terms of that, certainly the breeding program could be accelerated under his leadership. And what I feel that during this journey, he has not only contributed in research and development in this country, but in future also he will continue to work with us closely, like he was involved earlier. And now he is going to guide the world. It's not that he is going from ICRISAT, and ICRISAT is what I feel ICRISAT is not so big. It's a one of the international institute out of so many CGI institute. It's not that it's great, but certainly now he's going at the place where really his services are required. And from that place, I am sure that he will be leading the world. Not only he will not limit himself only for the chickpea or for, let's say, for the pigeonpea, but now he is going to guide the international agriculture in big way. And because I could see the bright future. Oh, of course, I can't. I am not a forecaster, but at least with my own experience of 30 years experience in working with the pulses or with the Indian agriculture, and closely working with Dr. Rajiv for 1.5 decades. I know that one day he will be leading the world, and we will be happy to receive him as a Director General of ICRISAT. And that's my wish. That's my wish, because it's not that nothing is impossible. And I can see that it's written on wall that one day he will be joining as Director General of some big CGI institute. And with that, he will be able to really ensure food and nutrition security to the people of not only this country, but globally, because many malnourished people are living around the world. It's not only that India has the large chunk of population that is malnourished, but in many other countries, many such type of the deprived peoples are there. So Rajiv is going to chair the not only the breeding program, but it's the agriculture research and development program. And I am really proud of you, Dr. Rajiv, and what Dr. Dikshit has said, that it's not the end. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. Because change is always better. Earlier I was not feeling that, but now at least with confidence I can say change is always better. And change is bound to come, and one has to accept change also. So it's a continuous process. It's not that no one can stop changes. So changes are bound to happen. One has to accept change, and changes are always better. So with this word, I'm thankful to Dr. Bharadwaj, Dr. Dikshit, Dr. NP Singh Saab, and you all for being for spending some time for this particular event, and it's going to be a memorable one. And from my core of heart, I profusely thanks to Dr. Rajiv Varse for sparing his time, because I know that from last 1 month he is too busy. But I should not forget to mention one thing. Whenever within the 24/7, whenever I have made a call, at least within few seconds, I could receive message, if not the call back. Oh, that's really great. And I appreciate yesterday we were discussing with the faculty and the students here, because now the Honorable Minister has to come. So just I was briefing something to them about the program. Then I said this one only, that a great person should respond immediately. If your response is late, that may not be required even. So that I could learn from Dr. Rajiv. Thanks, Dr. Rajiv. Many things I could learn from you and from Dr. NP Singh and from most of you. Thanks, Dr. Rajiv, again. And we will just grateful to you for spending time. And we will remain in close touch as we were maintaining. Good to see. Thanks a lot to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You have rightly said that when any one of the family gets a recognition, the whole family, it's a jubilant time and a proud achievement. When Dr. NP Singh Saab has become Vice Chancellor, it was a proud achievement for whole of the Chickpea family. When you yourself have become the Dean, it was a proud achievement to the whole Chickpea family. And here, Rajiv didn't grow within the system when he is placed in Murdoch. Murdoch has selected from world leaders, and you know, on its website it announces agricultural research leader joins Food Futures Institute. That's a big recognition to the Chickpea community as he takes over as Director State Agricultural Biotechnology Center, Director Center for Crop and Food Innovation, and Director Food Futures Institute. A big recognition to be put into the apex post of an internationally goldfield university that has been constantly ranking under 50 in the world rankings. Now I request our very senior colleague and brother, Dr. S.J. Singh Saab, to give his remarks.
Dr. Bharadwaj?
Yeah.
Dr. Bharadwaj?
Yes,
sorry
sir.
For interrupting. Actually, I am leaving. I have to board the flight from Bhubaneswar. So, Dr. Vasne sir, I am congratulating once again you. So, sir,
yes,
I am leaving. I have to board the flight just now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you to all. Okay, sir.
Bhadra sir, I think Dr. S.J. Singh is not here.
Yeah, he has joined for a brief. I think he lost the connection. Now I request upon our close friend, a person always with smiles, jokes on his face, and a typical laughter that is only typical for Mannoor Saab. I request Mannoor Saab to please give his remarks.
Thank you, Bharadwaj. Also thanks to Dr. NP Singh and Dikshit that they have proposed my name for this auspicious occasion to wish Dr. Vasne for his high assignment. So, first of all, I congratulate Dr. Vasne for joining higher assignment to the as a Director of Food Security at Australia, and also congratulate Dr. NP Singh having joined as a Bandha University Vice Chancellor, and also I will congratulate our Shiva Sevak. Still he is in the serving for IPR as a director. Congratulate, and also I congratulate all the Chaturvedi. We are joined as a Dean of the Agriculture University. And also I congratulate all of my friends who are all in our group. At the outset, I will tell we have come across with Vasne during 2007 in Tier 2 project very faintly. After association with him, we have come very close and have written a collaborative project in DBT and have come out with DSC, GOK. So many projects were written. All projects were successful. Just because this is a successful projects we have operated, and because once I have met with my agriculture minister, he was asking, that is Mr. Krishna Bhairegoda, no, so many things ICRISAT is doing, why you are not doing that? I told I am also good collaborator with Vasne. He gave me the highest respect by just mentioning Vasne's name. So Krishna Bhairegoda has good association with our Vasneji. And once what happened, one very rare instance myself and Vasne come across is, he called me one national workshop. There in a dinner time, during the dinner time, I saw the delegates who came from different other countries and Indian almost all corners. And I mentioned Vasne in the dinner time. Dr. Vasne, you are mentioned this as a national workshop, but looking into the assembly of the delegates, so it looks like an international. So everybody become laughing at that time. So next year itself, Vasne called an international meeting at Merit Hotel. It was so grandly organized. I appreciate his very involvement and his vision. Especially this achievement is possible only because the man having a vision. Otherwise, it is not possible. So because of the vision and our group, all chickpea group, NP Singh, Dixit, Chaturvedi, and Bharadwaj, so many IIPR scientists, and Madam Amitabh Bobar. Because of this, earlier we could able to import the pulses. Because of this, big group has achieved so many varieties and jump in the productivity, sudden jump in the productivity. We are trying to export the pulses. In fact, we are not importing any grain, but exporting, and the market price is very attractive for the farmers. Because of this, actually, one thing I want to tell, thanks to Vasne, because I was not knowing what is biotechnology, in fact. He made me molecular breeder. Though I was only traditional breeder, he brought into the molecular breeding program and he made me a molecular breeder. In fact, I'll tell you, I was not knowing what is the, in fact, biotechnology. When I appointed our Dr. Eri Shanabasa Eri, along with him, we could do so many things. I finally told the Vasne that because of the molecular biology and the traditional breeder, we could achieve the target very fast and accuracy. Whatever we aim, we'll hit it. Because of that, we come with a superannuity. It has out-yielded across the whole nation, but at least it has released notified for Central and South India because of the effort of Rajiv Vasne's lab. And another good achievement with association of Dr. Vasne is because of the importance of the lab, I took the benefit of our district administration. I established one biotechnology lab. I have spent nearly 1.5 to 2 crore rupees. Still, our lab is now working at Gulbarga. Imagine his impression on my sense of this thing, attitude. But anybody come across with him, if you come across with him, will prosper. I'll tell you. Dr. Vasne, you have such a type of association. This thing. you will make equivalent to you only. You bring them to your standard, the who associated with you. And even Chaturvedi, whenever I used to go IIPR, whenever we'll meet very nicely. And after my retirement, after 17, Dixit MP Singh stopped coming to our station. I don't know. Dr. MP Singh did not come. Dr. Dixit, I don't know what happened. See, every year without fail, both of them used to come. We used to go to farmers field. We used to have so much of this discussion. But ultimately now I don't think these. I'm only anything I can I can expect. MP Singh, Dr. MP Singh left, and the Chaturvedi left. So and ultimately our Varshney also left. Dr. Varshney also left. So,
I think other colleagues can mute themselves, so let Dr. Mukul speak.
So Dr. Varshney also left. So many stalwarts left the chickpea group. We should see what happens in future. But one thing I will tell you, Dr. Varshney brought one international team to my station. I requested him to bring. So he brought, I organized very good lunch and very venue for discussion. So many farmers. I think they must be felt very happy that I think that team which you have brought from ICRISAT. Yes. So anyhow, Dr. Varshney, I wish you great success. And when Australia is asking you for food security purpose, that shows that our India is fully food secured. Hence, they have called you to make food secure at Australia. So, yeah. That is there because they correctly identified him. So we are losing anyhow. We are losing, but instantly you have to join with us wherever possible, Dr. Varshney. Please promise me that you will join so many occasions here, and you help our colleagues Lakshman as well as our AD for publication and all. Still, he is having one collaboration with you, one project. I think you must be knowing. Yeah. So this is good collaboration. I thankful to organizers. This is a very good occasion. I would have missed it. Yes, thank you, Varshney. Thank you, Dr. N.P. Singh Saab, Dr. Dishit, Anta Babbar, and Bharadwaj. All my colleagues, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. As expected, sir always gives punches in a soft way. But nevertheless, sir, when the team is growing and when our own people become university heads and lead, we are very happy that they keep remembering us and bring in new blood and new collaborations. The next person appears to be serious, but is a child at heart. My teacher, my guru, and my mentor, Dr. Anita Babbar, madam. I request her to give few words. She was there.
Thank you, Dr. Bharat. Yes, I'm here. May I audible?
Yes, madam. Yes,
may I audible?
Yes,
okay.
Madam. Yes.
Good morning. Okay, thank you. Good morning, respected colleagues and dear friends of AICRP and ICRISAT. As all of you know, Dr. Rajiv Varshney, recognized as a leader in genome sequencing, genome assisted breeding, translation genomics, and capacity building in international agriculture. You know, I always admire Dr. Varshney's personality. He is a visionary scientist, dynamic and highly enthusiastic personality. I came across him in 2008 during the molecular training program at ICRISAT. After that, we have collaborated on various projects with ICRISAT. Under the chickpea molecular breeding network project funded by DBT, I must say it has been a delight to work with him. He has an exceptional way of working that expect for perfection keen efforts, strict focus, and quick response. Sometimes he demands extra work, but assures to be supportive and encouraging in towards his associates. Really, I like it. He's a fantastic team leader. He managed to not just engage with, but also build a connection with the peoples of all age group. I say all age group, without having any ego, but behind is commendable knowledge, steadfast attitude, and unmovable focus. There is something that I have always admired about him: his ability to have a fun, really fun, after fulfilling his responsibility. Dr. Varshney, I can never forget the fun-loving Rajiv in you, who would extract time to laugh a little, chat a little, and loosen up a little with the people outside his team, which is a rare quality. But then you are perhaps a rare gem of scientific community. Really, you are a gem. Your constant drive for excellence in work is inspiring for students, young professionals. One of the traits that make you stand out the rest of the way, you include everyone around you in the important jobs. Yes, really. It is uncommon to find people who give equal importance to both job and people at workplace, and yet manage to say positive and high energy. You are a high energetic personality. I feel immense pleasure to have been selected for a training program. I'm really in integrated breeding program for 6 or 7 chickpea breeders. And your path-breaking action in research for various crop, especially chickpea and pigeonpea, fills me with pride for being associated to a dynamic personality like you. Your public, and I always admire your publications. Your publication in high-rated journals make you one of the top-ranking professionals in the field. It is commendable how you never fail to share credits with all of your associates who have been a part of your publication in any ways. And I am also in the part of your publication, high-rated publication. And you are a global leader who draws his experience from the various parts of the world through various research activities. However, your visit to JNKVV, Jabalpur, remains pending. Dr. Rajiv, you're pending, and we continue to be hopeful to welcome you there soon. You please come. And it's now time you extend your expertise and knowledge for a great good. I feel great joy to see you doing well in your career and hope you achieve great heights everywhere you go. Here in India, a beautiful chapter of your life, and we wish you all the best for starting another job as director of various centers and also the international chair in agriculture and food security. Thank you very much to all the organizer who give me this opportunity to the felicitation program. Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Friends, as I said,
thank you very much.
Madam always says everything with a smile. You would have seen the whole of the talk she was giving freely, but with a smile, which each of us need to get into. Now I call upon my Praji, my close friend and a senior member, Dr. Sarvajit Singh, to put his remarks.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Hello, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Okay, so it means I am audible. Good morning, namaskar and sat sri akal to all. आज के इस समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि चीफ गेस्ट डॉक्टर राजीव कुमार वार्ष्णे, अदर डिग्निटरीज डॉक्टर एनपी सिंह, डॉक्टर जीपी दीक्षित, डॉक्टर शिव सेवक, डॉक्टर चतुर्वेदी, और आज के इस कार्यक्रम के सूत्रधार डॉक्टर भारद्वाज एंड ऑल माय कोलीग्स। जैसा कि आप सब लोग जानते हैं, आज हम डॉक्टर राजीव को एक बहुत ही वार्म सेंड ऑफ दे रहे हैं, विदाई कर रहे हैं उनकी इक्रिसैट से। डॉक्टर राजीव एक ऐसी शख्सियत हैं जिन्हें शब्दों में बयान करना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है। इट मीन्स ही इज डॉन ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल रिसर्च। अगर दूसरे शब्दों में कहें तो इनके बारे में कुछ भी कहना सूरज को दिया दिखाने के बराबर होगा। तो इनके बारे में जितने भी मेरे पहले सीनियर बोल चुके हैं, मेरे ख्याल से उन्होंने बहुत कुछ कहा, तो मैं उसमें कुछ ज्यादा ऐड नहीं करूंगा। मैं इनको 6G में डिस्क्राइब करना चाहूंगा। अभी 5G आ रहा है इंडिया में, पर मैं इनको 6G में डिस्क्राइब करूंगा। ही इज जीनियस, जेंटल, generous, great, gem, and gallant, means सर्वश्रेष्ठ. He was always very keen to open for all collaborations with respect to projects, vital development, and publications. So इनकी शान में मैं एक शेर पढ़ना चाहूँगा। दोस्ती गुल है, इसे खिलाए रखना, दोस्ती चिराग है, इसे जलाए रखना, हम रहे ना रहे इस जहां में, बस हमारी याद दिल में बसाए रखना।
वाह वाह वाह,
थैंक यू। एक और शेर है सर। हमारी दोस्ती हमेशा याद आएगी, कभी चेहरे पे हंसी, जो कि डॉक्टर राजीव के हमेशा ही चेहरे पे रहती है। कभी चेहरे पे हंसी तो कभी आंखों में आंसू लाएगी, भूलना भी चाहोगे तो कैसे भुलाओगे, हमारी कोई तो बात होगी जो आपको सदा याद आएगी, चाहे वो सरहद पार वाली ही क्यों ना हो। पाकिस्तान वाली। ठीक है ना?
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी।
So in the end, I wish him a great inning as director at Murdoch University in Australia, and I hope we will continue for similar type of collaborations. So Dr. Rajiv will be continue as a good collaborator with Indian colleagues, and we will all miss you in our meetings, especially in annual group meets and especially at ICRISAT meetings. So I wish you good luck for your all future endeavors. Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Bhardwaj, for giving me this opportunity to say a few words about a great personality, Dr. Rajiv. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So nice.
Thank you, Praji. आपने अपनी शेर और शायरी से इस कार्यक्रम में चार चांद लाए, उसके लिए हम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आभार प्रकट करते हैं। Since there is shortage of time, we have selected some of the few pupils so that we could get a group's representative. Before I move to today's chairman's remarks, I request Professor Varshne to say a few words to his family.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bhardwaj. Thank you very much for organizing this thing, and good morning once again. Let me thank first Dr. G.P. Dikshit, coordinator of All India Coordinated Research Project, Dr. Shiv Sevak, director of Indian Institute of Pulse Research, and our very good friend Dr. Bhardwaj, principal scientist from Indian Agriculture Research Institute Division of Genetics, and other colleagues for arranging this felicitation program. I think this is really important because of this pandemic. It would not have been possible for me to meet every one of you, but I think that through this program we could meet. I could see several senior people in this group, and I know that Bhardwaj, as you mentioned, that because of shortage of time you could not invite other colleagues, but nevertheless I know that all of you have lots of love and blessings to me, so I really feel very proud, very happy. But before that, let me also recognize very senior colleagues and the stalwarts in this session, including Dr. N.P. Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor from Wanda University of Agriculture and Technology, Many other senior colleagues like Dr. Chaturvedi, Dean Agriculture. I saw sometimes Dr. MC Khadagwal sir also, Dr. Mannur, Dr. Sarvjit Singh, Dr. Anita Babbar Madam, Dr. Harsh Nair, Dr. Jahagirdar, Dr. D.R. Saxena, Dr. Jai Lakshmi, Dr. Muhammad Yasin, and I think Dr. Rajendra Kumar also, he just joined, and I think many other senior colleagues who are here, and also many friends. I saw Aditya, K.R. Shorin, Shailesh, Yeri, Dr. Srivastava, Dr. I.P. Singh, Anshuman, and many other colleagues. I cannot mention all the names, sorry about that. And I'm so happy to see my own colleagues from ICRISAT, including Manish Rudkiwal, Mahendra Thudi, who have joined now in Bihar, Anu Chitkireni, Nilesh, and some former colleagues from ICRISAT, Riaz, Rachit, other colleagues like Muninder, Paramita, Manish, many other, Manish Pandey also, and all other fellow colleagues and students and my well-wishers. Many thanks for organizing this wonderful session, for your kind words, and also highlighting some of that achievements or contributions which we made together. I'm very much grateful to all of you, and especially to all of you who have found the time and joined this program. I'm grateful to all the colleagues, and especially would like to mention Dr. Bhardwaj for sharing our contribution to chickpea research in India in particular, and at the global level in general. And I know that Dr. Bhardwaj has been supported by several other colleagues like Manish Rudkiwal or so I'm thankful to both of them for organizing this thing. And as I said, this is a really great opportunity. Thanks very much for sharing all of your kind views and feelings. And chickpea has been very close to my heart. You know that though at ICRISAT I have been working on several crops, and this doesn't mean that I'm telling in every crop group that, well, they have been very close to my heart, but in the case of chickpea, if you see the number of the projects, number of the publications, number of the outputs across all the different crops, or from me, I think chickpea comes number one. So I think that this has been really wonderful, and I see so many people, more than 60-70 people sitting in this meeting. So I'm really very excited. We had similar kind of function on groundnut on the other day, and some of the senior colleagues from pigeonpea, I hope that they are also organizing, and so I will be there as well. And I understand some of you may be there, but nevertheless, as all of you know that it has been more than 16 years for me to work with all of you and others who are not there in this session, but I think they have also been very, very important part of our journey. And it is not possible to share that long journey or reflection of 16 years in few minutes, but this is the time for me to express my gratitude and sincere thanks to all of you. Again, would like to say that though you mentioned kind words about me, but this is my time. This is in fact me who is interested, who is extending my gratitude and sincere thanks to all of you for all your collaboration, contribution, and support. And not just professional level as a chickpea researcher, or so that when I joined way back in 2005, you guys, all of you, have embraced me with the open hearts, with the open arms. And together with you, we have done some work. So you really have made a great contribution in my life at both professional level as well as at the personal level. Personal level, when I joined ICRISAT, though I was not very slim boy, but I was slimmer than what I am now. Now you can see I have become fat because of your hospitality. Whenever I visit your institute centers, you are really extending great hospitality for me. So thank you very much for all these things. And it has been really a great time, and I will say productive and fruitful time for last 16 years while working with you all. Bhardwaj, you already shared the contributions, and when you mentioned these contributions, though you have been very kind, generous, and all other colleagues, senior people, including Dr. Dikshek, Dr. Shiv Sevak, Dr. Mannu, Dr. Anita Babbar, Dr. Sarvjit Singh, and I think Dr. Chaturvedi and all other colleagues who spoke earlier, they were very kind and generous that they mentioned that Rajiv's contribution. But in my opinion, I feel that these are not my contributions as an individual contributions, or they have made by me alone. Rather, these are the collaborative and collective efforts of all of you, of all the colleagues from the chickpea community, Indian Institute of Pulses Research, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, ACRIP community, ICR, State Agriculture Universities, many ICR centers, who are representing here. And so I think these are the collaborative efforts of all of you, and also the colleagues from our genomic centers, from the ICRISAT, and from India and elsewhere. So I'm really grateful to each and every one of you. So please accept my thanks, and I'm really grateful to you. Now I would like to say a few words that how we started this journey. As many of you mentioned, and I joined ICRISAT in way back in 2005, in September 2005. And I think that this was sometime January 2006 or so that Dr. Puran Gaur, who has been a great friend, great collaborator, and my well-wishers, somehow he has not joined here, but I really owe a lot to him as well. But nevertheless, so he, I think, was organizing this ICRISAT and ICR chickpea scientist meeting. So I think I was really lucky to meet many of you as early as in January 2006. We had a meeting, very wonderful meeting. I don't know whether Dr. N.P. Singh sir remembers or not, but I remember very well that Dr. N.P. Singh was also a very young scientist at that time point, leading the biotechnology program at Indian Institute of Pulse Research. I knew him earlier also from his work, but I think that we had some group interaction with him. And I think I have also been very lucky to Dr. N.P. Singh. While working with us together, he kept on growing on the different positions, from the principal scientist to the coordinator, the director, now the vice chancellor. I don't want to take the credit, sir. This is all your hard work, but I feel very happy and very proud that with the people with whom I have worked, they are reaching to the higher position. The same thing to Dr. Chaturvedi or Dr. Dikshit or Dr. Shiv Sevak. This really gives a lot of good feeling that when our own colleagues are reaching to the newer and higher position. Anyway, so then Dr. N.P. Singh, when he became a scientist, became the coordinator of the ACRIP. I think under your leadership as a ACRIP coordinator, you invited me. You started to invited me to the different ACRIP meetings. And you brought this change that how, and you had only this vision that how this biotechnology, either this is GM or genomics research, can be integrated crop improvement program. And this was the time I started to interact with these ACRIP partners. State agriculture universities started to give those lectures. And I remember that Dr. N.P. Singh was always telling me, Rajiv, you need to tell the science in the simple manner, simple words. So instead of words, I started to use the pictures of the cars and motorcycle, aeroplane. I don't know that how many of you were seeing this one. So I think that, and Dr. Chaturvedi, as he mentioned, so I think that this is the way that we started our journey from that IIPR. Also, Dr. Chaturvedi was there, and then Dr. G.P. Dikshit had joined as a ACRIP coordinator earlier. He was a peace scientist or so. But again, we started expanding our journey. IIPR, IRI always have this really interesting story with Dr. Bhardwaj. Earlier, we had some collaboration with Dr. Rajendra Kumar and Dr. Jitendra Kumar, but Dr. Bhardwaj was young at that time point. We had some project on ground and on this genomic selection. We were just planning, and all of a sudden I reached IRI early. Dr. Bhardwaj was having a walk, and we encountered. He says, what you are doing, Dr. Varshney here? I say, well, I have come for a meeting, but I'm early. Let's have the coffee or a tea. So we sat on the dhaba, and then I told that, well, we are starting this project. He says, Rajiv, I really would like to work. And I say, we don't have that now possibility to have the partner. No, don't worry. You send the proposition, we start to work. And I think after that, Dr. Bhardwaj and we started to work on several projects. In many of our projects, if you see from ICR, IIPR and IRI, they are the part of several projects and many state agriculture universities. I will mention some of the names. From ICRISAT, as I said, Dr. Puran Gaur played very, very important role in all of our efforts. Some of the physiologists, including Dr. Krishnamurthy, Dr. Negi, and many other colleagues from last several years, from the breeding, pathology, entomology, and many other colleagues who have, like, including Dr. Pandey, Dr. Mamta Sharma, Dr. Ashi Sharma, Dr. Hari Upadhyay, many colleagues from ICRISAT, Dr. Ganga Rao from Kenya or so, they played very important role. And I should also mention that even the genomics research, we alone from ICRISAT couldn't do much, but I had really wonderful colleagues working with me in genomics, including Dr. Mahendra Thodi, Dr. Manish Rudkiwal, Dr. Hima Bindu, Anu Chitkineni, and many several students, PhD students, postdocs who really contributed a lot to all these efforts. We also had a good collaboration with NIPGR from Dr. Sabhyata Bhatia, and then this expanded to many other colleagues. So I would say that when we started, we always had a dream that we would like to see the genomic resources not restricted to the publications, but going to the farmer's field. Dr. Mannoor mentioned about it, that when he contacted me, Rajiv, Annigri is fantastic variety, but became susceptible. What to do? With Dr. N.P. Singh, we always used to talk, Rajiv, we need to work on the abiotic stresses, drought tolerance. Dr. Chaturvedi always says that, well, in that diseases, fusion wilt, we can see by our eyes, but we need to have something that we need to have this drought tolerance related thing. And at that time point, we did not have many genetic maps with the intra-specific population. And I was talking on the other day, my plan was to develop, to do anything at the large scale. And for doing these things, you all have contributed a lot. So for instance, we developed more than 3,000 SSR markers, made them publicly available to all of you, started to develop several genetic maps. Among many different key traits, I think this drought tolerance QTL hotspot has become very, very popular all around the world. I doubt that we have any chickpea breeder who does not know about the QTL hotspot. And not only in India, across the world now, many people, they started to call their QTLs as the QTL hotspot, and this has been very, very useful. And then we had this journey of the genome sequences, not one sequence, several thousands of the sequence, but this was always the plan, how to do that. When I remember when we had this chickpea genome sequence, Secretary Agriculture invited me, then we, Dr. N.P. Singh and myself, we worked together with many other colleagues, develop some proposals that how we can integrate these things in that breeding program. I remember Dr. Bhardwaj, Dr. Yasin, and I think there are several other colleagues who were involved in that project, that how we can put this thing, and Dr. S.J. Singh also. One thing, as some of you mentioned, that I always would like to think at larger scale. I remember that a small room of that ICRISAT, when we had this DSC project starting meeting, we discussed we need to phenotype 3,000 lines together. Several colleagues mentioned, no, this is not possible. But good thing is that when you have Dr. N.P. Singh with you as a director, and when Dr. N.P. Singh says, no, we need to do it, then colleagues agreed that yes, we will do it. And I think we have done it. So 3,000 chickpeas phenotyping for 2 different years at 6 locations, and all of them, this became the part of the Nature paper. Otherwise, but sometimes my colleague Dr. Manish Rudkiwal says, people can publish. I think it's really always difficult to publish the paper from the plant sciences in Nature. And even in the plants, you can publish when you are working on rice or maize or wheat. Having a paper from chickpea, publishing in Nature, it's not easy job. But this was possible because of the collaborative efforts of all of us. Having these phenotyping, sequencing, 3,000, and now these kind of work, when this is being recognized by the topmost media like the New York Times, that the Economist, World Economic Forum, etc. This really gives a lot of good feeling to all of us that we are really did a great work. So I think during this period, I do not need to go in the details, but we had several projects from the Department of Biotechnology, Department of Agriculture Corporation, Generation Challenge Program, Gates Foundation. Several of you were involved in the Tropical Legumes Project, for which ICRISAT also won that Africa Food Prize, and recently I also got that elected fellowship from the African Academy of Sciences, which is also very important for me at personal level. Indo-German Science Technology Project and Australian-Indo's Strategic Research Fund. We had the 3 phases. We had several phases. I always remember with Dr. N.P. saying that in one of the meeting in Rajasthan, some of our colleagues were not very excited because they run away here and there. We were having the project meeting and people ran for that shopping, etc. And then we were calling them back, please come to the meeting. And then when they came back to the meeting, Dr. N.P. Singh, and I never thought from this perspective, he told that when Rajiv has come from Hyderabad to have this meeting and you guys are moving here and there, and many times we always talk about the projects. And as I said, I did not recognize, but then he mentioned the names of the projects, that because of Rajiv, he is bringing so many projects, he is bringing the money to all of you, and you are not interested. So all of us know that Dr. N.P. Singh is taskmaster, but again, for the good reasons. And when he told that, I think many colleagues, they recognized. And we feel very happy that all of you have done really great work as a friend, as a collaborator. Dr. Anita Babbar mentioned one of the good things which I have acquired from my German boss, from Professor Andreas Graner, and I tell this thing to everybody. I think that when I was coming to India, and I asked him that I am so much impressed with you. I learned hard work from Professor Gupta, by the way, my PhD supervisor. But one other thing from Professor Andreas Graner, he told me when I was coming, I asked Andreas, I'm a young guy, give me some tips, what should I be doing when I'm going to ICRISAT? How can I be successful? He says, Rajiv, you don't need to do anything for being successful. You just do one thing. The colleagues who have been working with you, the collaborators with whom you are working, the student who are working, your PhD student, postdocs, colleagues, collaborators, you just take care of them. You just help them. Whatever you can do in your best capacity, your career will automatically be grown. And I think now when I recollect this thing, reflect that one, I think that's one of the things which I was doing. I was always trying to find the opportunities, how I can work with some colleagues, how can I help them either through projects, through publication, through the product or something. I think this was one of the best thing which I learned, and I will continue to follow this mantra, and I have learned a lot from all of you. So during these time, I feel very satisfied that not only that we delivered the genome sequences or upstream research, and then many of us are the part of those projects. I think one of the most important thing is that molecular breeding has become the integrated part of the chickpea. Thanks to that stalwarts like Dr. N.P. Singh, Dr. Dikshit, Dr. Chaturvedi, Dr. Bhardwaj, Mannu, Dr. Anita Babbar, Dr. Yasin, Dr. Jay Lakshmi, so many people there, MPKB also, Dr. Harare and many other people, I cannot remember all the names, but then all of you started to work. And as Dr. Mannoor says, and I mentioned about Dr. Mannoor and other colleagues in one of my TEDx talk as well. And I feel very happy when Dr. Mannoor, when he was just about to be retired, and he says, Rajiv, I would like to see the Sandigiri variety became popular again. And when he says, I never saw the DNA in my life, but now people call him molecular breeder. Hey, this gives me a lot of satisfaction. The same thing, like we had many PhD students, more than 100 PhD students, direct students, indirect students. Some of my students, they are also the chickpea breeder now here, and I feel very happy to see them. And then these things, and there several of them, they are serving different organizations at the different parts of the world. I feel very satisfied, feel lucky to work with this amazing group of researchers, that we have done something together. And again, as people say that chickpea production was about 5-6 million ton in 2005. In 2020, this became around 10 to 12. This is not contribution of 1% or 2%. This is the collective efforts of this group, and leadership plays very important role. And then we had on the helm of affairs, Dr. N.P. Singh, Dr. Dikshit, and many other senior people, support from the DSC. And when we hear that ICRISAT has contributed something in this one, I feel very proud of that one, that ICRISAT has made some contribution this thing. So in this regard, I would not like to speak a lot because I want to hear from our chief guest, Dr. N.P. Singh as well. I'm sure he's going to say the good words as well. Nevertheless, at this stage, I would like to thank all senior colleagues who are here. Many of them are not here, but I'm grateful to them. And at this stage, would like to thank once again Dr. N.P. Singh, Dr. Shiv Sevak, Dr. G.P. Dikshit from the IIPR, and also should mention that leadership from ICR, Director General Dr. Mohapatra, Deputy Director General Research, Crop Sciences, Dr. T.R. Sharma, and former directors of IIPR, Dr. Masood Ali, Dr. Natarajan, also former DG, Dr. Ayyappan, and former DDG Crop Science, Dr. S.K. Datta. I should mention Dr. Shopan Datta when he was a DDG Crop Science. He was so forward-looking, visionary scientist, and many of those positive things what we are seeing, these were just started under his leadership. He used to call Dr. N.P. Singh, myself, talking, Rajiv, what you can do, how we need to do. And I think this really gives a lot of happiness to us. And of course, Dr. Sandhu, Dr. A.K. Singh, who were the former DDG's Crop Science. We are grateful to all the colleagues, all the organizations, but would like to mention a few organizations once again: IIPR, IRI, RAKCA Shahor, RARI Durgapura, RARS Nandyal, US Raichur, JNKVV, PAU, and MPKB, and many other organizations of all the other organization centers of ACRIP, ICR Institute, and ACRIP Chickpea has given me a lot of love and respect, and I'm really grateful to them. ISPRD, many of the colleagues are also part of the ISPRD. I'm also thankful to the Indian Society of Pulses Research and Development, for which I'm having in this vice presidentship. Dr. Sabjit Singh, sacrificed his vice presidency for me. I'm grateful to you, Dr. Sarabjit Singh. I will always remember your stories of Pakistan. I'm sorry that I could not take you to Pakistan, but sometimes we will take you to Pakistan also. So don't worry about that. Or we will bring your loved ones from Pakistan to Australia, and we will bring you from India to Australia. So we will have a good Milan in Perth as long as your madam allows you to go to Perth for this meeting. So then this is perfectly fine with us. Anyway, this was on the lighter side. But again, thanks to, and as I said, ISPRD also has given me a lot of honor. Chickpea has given me a lot of an honor. I remember that last time they gave me the honorary fellowship award, etc. From ICRISAT, our DG, Dr. Jackie Hughes, Dr. Arvind Kumar, the Deputy Director General Research, for their contribution and support, and our former Director Generals, Dr. Dar. He is a great person. And as I say that many of these things were started under his leadership when he was a very forward-looking person or so, and he really extended a great support to me on the various activities. Dr. David Worthington, Dr. Peter Carvery, and as I said, we don't have Dr. Puran Gaur, but I keep on meeting with him. But Dr. Puran Gaur has played very, very important role. If he wouldn't have the population, if he wouldn't have worked on the germplasm, phenotyping, etc., Dr. Hari Upadhyay, he also played very, very important role on all this thing. Now several other colleagues, Dr. Srinivasan, we have Dr. Kuldeep Singh, former director of NBPGR. He's taking this germplasm research legacy now further at ICRISAT. And as I said, all the other disciplinary colleagues from ICRISAT, once again, Mahendra, Manish, Hima, Anu, Prasad, you have been key players to contribute to chickpea research, and many students, Spurti, Pavna, Vanika, Amir Khan, and many others, and all the students and colleagues. I should also mention that this would not have been possible without the international collaborations from several countries, United States, Australia, China, and Europe. In the end, all of you know that I'm moving now and taking these leadership position in Australia, and some colleagues mentioned here and many people also mentioned here, and I feel very satisfied. Generally in the Western world and foreign countries, when many of us Indian colleagues, they go there, they start their career, and if they do amazing job, then they are giving the leadership position. Now having somebody from India, Indian national, and inviting them to take these positions, this also gives a lot of satisfaction, happiness that we have done something together and they are recognizing our efforts. So I will be leading their State Agriculture Biotechnology Center as a director, and also the Center for Crop and Food Innovation. But I don't want to restrict myself to the Australian agriculture, but I will be working for Australian agriculture. So that leadership of Murdoch University, they were very kind enough to also institute a chair, and this is International Chair in Agriculture and Food Security. Through this chair, I will continue to work with India and many other countries around the world, and will continue to have our linkages. So I can go out from India, I can go, but India cannot come out from me wherever I am. You people as your friends, Dr. Sarabjit Singh has mentioned very nice Shero Shairi. So yes, I will not forget any of you. We will always remember. Good thing is that in Australia, they do a lot of chickpea research, and we will have a lot of chickpea activities. You know, I'm also a big fan of keep on organizing the conferences and meeting. I always would love to invite our friends, collaborators. I'm sure we will keep on meeting, we will keep on working on various chickpea activities. We still have one Indo-Australian chickpea research project, and where we will be working together. I thought that Manish Rudkiwal, I don't know that Manish, whether this is fair to say here or not. If you allow, I can share some words. Yes or
you
no?
may share, although I wanted to share myself, but you may tell now.
Okay, then Bhardwaj, we should give some opportunity to Manish also. Then after me, then we should invite our chief guest. Anyway, so then Manish will share. But yeah, what I wanted to say that we will continue to connect our connection with ICRISAT, with all of you. Look forward to see you in various meetings, and I would like to invite you to host you in Perth. And Dr. NP Singh knows much more better about Perth than any of us, because he was at the same center, State Agriculture Biotechnology Center, for several years back. So he will also tell that how beautiful Perth is, and I would love to invite you, all of you there. I was very lucky to enjoy the hospitality from many of you. I have visited several centers. Yes, Anita madam, I planned 2 times to visit the JNKVV. I have been visiting other centers in Madhya Pradesh, but I could not visit your center. This is pending, but I will be coming there. With these words, thank you very much, one and all. Thank you very much for organizing this wonderful session. And I will always remember all your kind hospitality and generosity. Thank you very much. Back to you, Bhardwaj.
Thank you. Somewhere within the Guru and Sishya, Gupta ji, Varshne Saab, Sachin Tendulkar, all short but humble people. Thank you for your humble words. Manish, can you chip in fast with 1 minute because we have Dr. NP Singh Saab with a meeting and Chaturvedi Saab with a meeting.
Police want to say something first.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you all, because I have just several calls I have received and I have to rush for that.
Okay, Chaturvedi sir, thank you very much.
Sorry to disturb you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will remain in touch. Yeah.
Yes, Manish.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Rajesh sir, for this. And respect is one of the rare moments when all of the chickpea stalwart are there in one frame, and that's, I think, advancement of technology that we, despite being this COVID, we all can see each other in different parts of India. At the end, I will say vote of thanks, where I would like to thank at least several of you. But because Rajiv has brought this thing, so I was thinking to send a mail separately to talk to you. Few of seniors like Dr. Dikshit knows, Dr. Bhardwaj know. It's a coincidence. It's not planned. Rajiv will agree that it was not planned somehow. But it has a coincidence that when Rajiv told in the lab that he is leaving, same day I told him that I am also planning to leave. And I thought that I'll use this opportunity to tell everybody, chickpea community, because I have received so much love and affection from the community, so much blessings from the seniors like Dr. NP Singh, Dr. Dikshit sir, Dr. Manu, Dr. Bhardwaj, Rajiv sir has always been supportive, Anita madam. So I am also leaving in next couple of months, and I will be joining UAE University as in the Khalifa Biotech Center. And I'll be taking care of the same genomics and molecular breeding activities. But I'm still there for about 2 months. But since Rajiv brought this, so I thought to update you all. And I would like to thank everybody, each and from the chickpea community, for their support, love, and blessings. Whatever I could gain, it's because of your support and guidance. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Manish. Thank you, Rajiv. Rajiv, you are rightly put. We have a very good taskmaster and a leader who led almost for 2 terms as project coordinator, later as director IAPR. And the biggest asset of this man was to recognize talent, as support it, nurture it, be it IAPR, be it in the ICAR system. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. NP Singh, I request him to kindly give the chairman's remarks. NP Singh sir.
Good afternoon to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Bharadwaj, for planning this particular meeting, you and Dr. Manish Rohkiwal. And I thought now there is occasion that at least virtually we are able to meet each other, see each other. I see great people besides Rajiv, who is the man of the day, our main guest. And Dr. Shiv Sevak has gone, Director IAPR, Kanpur. Then Dr. S.K. Chaturvedi, Dean, he has also left the meeting. But nevertheless, he spent a lot of time with us. Dr. G.P. Dikshit, project coordinator for a long time, taking over from me. And I see both Sarvjit, PAU and Jaipur, we used to say. Dr. Manu, one of my greatest friend, I had in chickpea group, always making a lot of humor, in each and every occasion. I see Anita Babbarji, and I also see Professor Rajendra Kumar, Dr. Kharakwal, many of you, in this particular meeting. Thank you everybody for planning this particular meeting, for Rajiv, the man who had a hand holding, with the chickpea group, with the pulse group, for a very long time, almost 1.5 decades. I know first time I met Rajiv, when I was working on the bench, as a biotechnologist, somewhere, with Dr. P.K. Agarwal in ICGB, not ICGB, I think CCMB Hyderabad. That was the time, he came for interview, in ICRISAT. And we had a chat, and later on, he joined ICRISAT. And I tried to align with him, for the work that he was doing, in chickpea biotechnology. And later on, once I took over as a project coordinator, I thought he's a real man who can be roped up, for the betterment of the science. Because I thought that AICRP chickpea program has very little science in it. So why not, infuse science? And nobody is better than Rajiv, to join this particular group. After that, he became, a regular member of our AICRP meeting. I always used to call him, that you come and deliver a talk, which is very simple, and how the biotechnology can be integrated, to the Pulse program. AI is particularly a CRIP program. And now you see today, the way chickpea has grown. Dr. Chaturvedi mentioned that chickpea, what was in 2005-06, about 5.5 million ton. Now the total production has crossed, to 11 million tons, almost double. This kind of change has not taken place in any crop. Actually, when you talk the pulse revolution, it was the first chickpea revolution. And then other crops, just they followed the suit. So that is the way this crop grown. And if you look at the way the information was generated, I mean, I remember in 2005-06, I was attending a meeting where I was also invited, in the ICR headquarters. Dr. Kallu was, Deputy DG Crop Science. He told this crop is in very bad shape. And the program is the worst, one of the worst program, AICRP program in the country. I was there, and then I thought it is a chance, for me to make something different there. And since then, it was a great journey with Rajiv. I mean, we grew, together with the whole group. And if you look at the publication that has come, over a period of time, to tell any reputed journal in the world, he published a paper. And he did not leave a single person, who was interacting or who was collaborating with him. And whether it is the nature or it is the science or any journal, tag anything you tell, best journal, in the country where, this breeding and biotechnology work is done. He published everywhere. And if you look at his recognitions, he is, the fellow of almost all academy, reputed academy in the country. Whether it is a National Academy of Agriculture Sciences, National Academy of Sciences, and National Academy of Sciences, or even if you see Third World Academy of Sciences. So you see his recognition and the kind of, the contribution that he made to the science. Though he worked in a number of crop, mainly legumes, but chickpea remained his first love, And most of his focus, remained on chickpea. I remember in early days when we used to talk together, we had several journey together, in India and abroad. We used to discuss, now it is time to bring the product, because unless you bring the product, the entire community is not going to recognize. That is where, we started working on molecular breeding. Number of projects, we got together. We applied to DSC for applied aspects, and huge funding coming from a different part. This TL project also, to which, he led later on. There was a lot of, molecular stuff there. Now chickpea, if you see today, one of the most resource-rich crop, genomic resource, which was what Dr. Bharadwaj was telling before 2005. There was only one paper, that was published by, this winter call group, from the Germany. Now we have a 6+, I think, this molecular marker assisted product in chickpea. It was very difficult in the beginning, for accepting people, that these products are going to be better than the one that we already have in pipeline. But we developed some guideline and we borrowed, and I am grateful to Dr. Sapan Datta Saab, who was at that time DPDG, helped us a lot, developing this guideline and then, taking this mass product, to the field. Friends, this is not that he published, a lot of paper and he included entire group into that. Now he led, development of many mass product. But if you see his contribution, hand-holding young people, in the country. And not only you see that he organized number of seminars, symposium, where invite number of people, to join that. The people got benefited. He assisted in funding those people, sponsoring those people, to those, international symposium, whether it was done, in Hyderabad or it was done, outside this country. Besides, he organized large number of training programs. Not only, he organized in ICRISAT campus, but outside ICRISAT campus also. So the way he nurtured young people, his impact, is enormous. I always see, Rajiv, not only a very visionary person, but an impact player. He's the game changer and he's game setter, He set a lot of things, that people to follow. Besides, he's a thorough gentleman. He is, a person with always, a human touch. मैं हमेशा इनको बोलता हूँ, वे संकट मोचन नाम तुम्हारो. कई बार बहुत विकट विपत्ति आ जाती थी, ये इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, वो इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए, ICR से डंडा, वहां से डंडा. I always used to call him, you send so and so information. And, I will tell you without fail, wherever he is there, he will just send it, within no time. इसीलिए मैं कहता हूं कि न भूतो न भविष्यति. उन्होंने जो एक कम समय में जो एक अपने को जिस तरह से स्थापित किया, the way he conducted himself in public, the way he conducted, himself in academic life, I don't see in my era, anybody parallel to him. And
thank you, sir.
He made a mention, Rajiv made a mention that he is going to a place where I already worked, in 1998. I was a visiting scientist there, and it's a wonderful center, I remember there more than 250 people used to work in those times, in 1998, when, this science was not very developed. And the people not only, from the different states in Australia, though it is a state, Western Australian State Biotechnology Center, the people all over the world used to work there. And not only, from the agriculture side, from medical science and, from the health side, I mean, a lot other, animal sciences. So that is almost, multidisciplinary biotechnology center. And definitely where the Rajiv is going, he will be leading, I will say in the area, in the entire world. That is one of the topmost, 20-30 university in the world. Murdoch, one of the, what we say, the most modern university, in Australia. And besides that, he will be also holding an international chair, in agriculture and food security. That will provide him access, to the research which is going on, the globally. He's already a global leader. There is no doubt about it. He's a global leader. Not only, in India, people recognize. All Goras also, they recognize him. That, and it's all, glory for all of us, that the way he led ICRISAT. Sometimes I feel my career also, and when I used to look at Rajiv, sometimes people grow above the organization. And in recent years, I thought now his position has become very small and he has grown a lot. So definitely he should quit and go somewhere, because that is the time when you grow above the organization. I mean, your personality grow. Then definitely to grow your personality further, you must make a move. And I think that this is the right time that you are taking a international chair. Definitely you will be able to focus more on your core area of biotechnology, because here once you come in management, many other things you start doing and you have to do it, extension and all. So in your age, this is not good. I mean, still you have another 20 years plus to go. वहाँ से अल्लाह मुझे मालूम नहीं कि हमारी एज में आप क्या करेंगे, लेकिन मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जो भी आपने हमारे भारतीय जो विज्ञान है, कृषि है, विशेष तौर से जो हमारा पल्स और चिकपी ग्रुप है उसको जो दिया है, आपके कंट्रीब्यूशन को हम लोग हमेशा याद रखेंगे. एंड वी आर ऑल थैंकफुल टू यू दैट यू हैव गिवन अ लॉट to the Indian national program in terms of your contribution, not only in genomics, many area, particularly grooming young people, a real leader. I mean, how to lead people, how to lead a group. I mean, one should always learn from you. And particularly, I am very grateful to you that you have been always with me. Whether it was a good time for me, it was a bad time for me. I never had a bad time in my career, I should say. But always I feel that whenever there was a crisis, you always, come up, you helped us, national program. And I feel proud once I left, Indian Institute of Pulsar Research, though, my superannuation is also in next month. I feel that I'm really very satisfied person, because I had a company of many people like you, and particularly Rajiv, man of the day. He was with me. He was always, used to stand on my side, on my back, just telling that go ahead. And it was a great journey for me, 32 and a half years. And with Rajiv sharing half of the journey, almost 16 years together, really it made a difference. And friends, I will tell you that now I am at a place, which is the pulse bowl of the country, Bundelkhand. Wherever I go, I see either side of the road, chickpea, field pea, lentils growing. I feel I have come in the real world, particularly in the fag end of my career. And I invite all of you to come sometimes visit us, in Bundelkhand. I mean, it's the region, people are stressed, because of several regions, very poor people living. लेकिन ये भी जमीन तपोभूमि है, आप जानते हैं. यहाँ भगवान राम भी आए चित्रकूट में. आल्हा रुदल और राजा छत्रसाल भी रहे, जिनकी की वीरता की कहानियां सारी दुनिया में मशहूर हैं. यहाँ रानी लक्ष्मीबाई भी रहीं, उनकी भी एक कर्म भूमि है. तो मैं इनवाइट करता हूँ सबको कि जब कभी मौका मिले तो आप आइए. अदरवाइज मैं एक ऑकेजन जल्दी क्रिएट करूंगा ताकि सब यहाँ आप विजिट कर सकें. एंड द न्यू यूनिवर्सिटी विच इज ग्रोइंग, it is spread just like, it's a giant campus like ICRISAT, 1,000 acre, a kind of, a square campus, very rare, huge, beautiful buildings, So I invite once again, I take this opportunity to invite all of you, and don't leave, Mada Agriculture University, where I am living. I will be always, still useful to all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rajiv. And
thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your
giving us opportunity to at least, before you are leaving, we are together, and I hope that you will continue to remember all of us and remain connected.
Sure, sir.
Remain connected. In the end, I'm really thankful to Dr. Bharadwaj, and Dr. Manish Rulkiwal. Coordinating this particular meeting at a real time, and all the best to Dr. Rulkiwal also. He is living to UAE, and a lot of people have left. I don't know what is going to be the fate, of the group Center of Excellence in Genomics. Rajiv has to see that also nurtures, with the colleagues there, because that is our responsibility. As I am worried about IIPR always, that the place where I left, it should grow further. So thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So nice of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and we are very thankful to you that despite your busiest schedule, you have really agreed to spend this forenoon with us. And you have rightly identified two best qualities of this young, humble gentleman, Sam and Ubuntu. And he has put it, Ubuntu means I am because you are, and Sam is together. Together we grow. As we come to the concluding session of this function, I request Manish Rulkiwal, who is also due thanks for his new assignment, to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Bhadraj sir, and it's really an honor to be participating in this thing. And I have received a message from several of colleagues who saying it's good that we were able to see, listen so many stalwarts. And it's one of the rare occasions I'm mentioning to meet all the chickpea community sitting in one frame, listening everybody. So first of all, thanks to all of you. And I would like to thank Dr. N.P. Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor. It's always a pleasure to talk to him and listen to him. I have been hearing him I've completed 10 years in ICRISAT, and I've been hearing Dr. Singh. It's always inspirational to hear him, and whenever he gives guide, he gives you motivation that you should work hard. So thank you, sir. Thanks for sparing time. We understand that you have so much busy schedule, but despite that, you spared the entire forenoon with us. And then I would like to thank Dr. Dikshit sir for his leadership. And we have seen under the directorship of IIPR and the leadership of PC chickpea community has grown, and it's one of the model crop in India. In fact, PMA was recognized recently. Several of the varieties were dedicated by the Honorable Prime Minister to India, and we were part of this. And that's a proud moment for the chickpea team. And I believe all of us feel proud under your leadership. Thank you, Dikshit sir, and thank you, Sir. I think Dr. Sir has left. He had to take the flight. And then I would like to thank all the senior members. Forgive me if I miss some of the names. Dr. Anita Babbar, Dr. Mannoor, Dr. Sarjit Singh, and then Dr. Chaturvedi, who is left. So, Dr. S.J. Singh, I'm not sure. I think he joined Dr. Viraj Lakshmi ma'am. And I don't know, I think all of us, whosoever, they have joined it. If somebody has missed that event, it may be because of some network issues. This shows the love and affection Rajiv has from this community. And on behalf of Rajiv also, because I worked with him, I would like to thank each one of you for sparing that time. And now being one of the part of who were organizing, I would like to thank Rajiv also. And we all say thank each other, but we miss one thing. I would like, on behalf of chickpea community, I request Rajiv sir to pass our thanks to his family. So many times extra time we take from his time, it belongs to them. And we must thank those guys, because of this chickpea community has got so much of his time. And I remember from yesterday's meeting, one comment somebody said in groundnut. One quality which I like, because I have been working with Rajiv, although officially I joined 10 years back, but I've been working with him almost 15 years now, that no matter he's talking to Honorable Prime Minister or a new student, he remains same. He is always jolly. He will he will try his best to make everybody comfortable. So I know when I met him first, I was scared that he is a big name. How will he's going to talk? And I believe most of students, they will share the feeling. So in the end, I would like to thank each and everybody in this chickpea community. Thanks for joining, and it's making, it shows that there's more than 60, 70 people are there in the meeting. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. And on my personal behalf also, thanks for your blessings, love and affection. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can give a clap by unmuting.
Happy New Year.
All, and especially to Rajiv.